Hey guys, I am coming to you. Oh, watch out. I'm going to turn my volume up. There we go. I wanted to come to you and talk to you about bullying, mainly because I think that when you're vulnerable about something, people take that as weakness, and it absolutely is not. And so I think on Valentine's Day, it would be a great time, especially with the season of love. And I don't know if you saw my cute little unicorn box that Nicole made me. I thought that was so cute. That's what I woke up and saw it on the living room table when I got up. Love it. It was super cute. And she obviously knows her way to my heart. That was super sweet. I haven't opened my other daughter's card. I know that's bad. It's still sitting there, so I need to go open that. But she's at school, so... One thing about Valentine's, I don't know about y'all, but it's almost like Thanksgiving to me, to where I have to actually watch my carbs and my eating, because I will eat the heck out of some chocolate covered strawberries and some chocolate. And like if I had diabetes, my sugar would be, my sugar's through the roof anyways, but if I had diabetes, so Valentine's is like my Halloween. Anyways, so I wanted to come to you and talk to you about bullying, mainly because, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people take being vulnerable as a weakness, and I don't think it's a weakness at all. I think that it's a way for you to improve. I think it's a way for you to gain some strength and just learn a lesson. And I have, oh, thank you, Nicole. I have really been struggling with this, and I wanted to kind of touch base, because I posted about what would you do, in a situation where you're being bullied. Well, what about if your child was bullied, and could your heart sustain it? And so I thought Valentine's Day would be an appropriate day to talk about hearts. And, I have been in a situation where I've been bullied. I've actually seen others be bullied. I'm going to talk about work experience. Some people get bullied for all kinds of reasons. One could be because they're jealous. That's a lot of the reason. Another reason could be because maybe you're too advanced for them. I'll give you an example. You're in a work setting, and there's this one person who always gets the job done and gets it done like this. Other people who want to slack off and not do anything don't like that person, because that person does their job and gets it done quickly. And the person who's like slagging and doesn't want to do it is like, why do you have to make us look bad? You're always going faster than what we are. So that person could be a target of bullying, because the other not so effective people are getting angry because that person is working their tail end off. Usually that person who's working their tail end off winds up advancing, and so they don't want that. They don't want that person to become a boss or in a higher position to turn around and say, hey guys, you don't do anything, you need to get off your butts. So that's a work setting situation. But I've actually, in direct sales, bullying could be huge. And in direct sales, you can be bullied by another company. You can be bullied within your company, which is so sad. And I'm going to touch on kids too, because I have a situation that I'm going through and I'd really like some advice. But I've actually had to experience that and go through that in direct sales. Yes, it's been from other companies and things like that. That's happened. But I think it's worse if it's within your network. If it's within your company, it's bad. Because just like the setting where the person's working their tail end off, and someone who's a slacker is like, maybe say something or do something, eventually their boss or their leader or whoever in that work environment is going to step up to the plate, and is probably going to put a stop to that if they know it's going on. In direct sales, you own your own business. You are your own person. And so you are the boss. You are everything. So to stand up, it's so much harder, because a lot of us don't have the leadership that is going to do that. And then others, why would you? Honestly, if this is your company, why would you need that backing? Well, you do when it is in your own network. If it's from another company and things like that, it's not so much. But when it's within your network and it's within your company, it makes it very hard. And I have struggled with that, and I have been struggling with that for months. I've kind of been open about that off and on in the last couple months about having some people attack, and it happened to be within the company, which doesn't make it easy. It actually puts a really bad taste in my mouth. As much as I may love products or love the people in the company, when you get targeted and people start basically smearing your name, it really takes a toll on you personally. And leadership and things like that, they're not going to really know that because they're not in your shoes. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know what may be happening to you personally or how you feel about it. I mean, to be honest, a lot of them, you know, they're working on their income producing activity. And so, you know, your little bullying situation or your little thing going on is not that big of a deal. And you might do the same thing to your network, to your team, which is you've got to keep your eyes open for this because you don't want them to slip. So on the other side, I have my one of my children who have off and on been bullied at school, and I don't know if y'all have had to deal with that, but I would love some likes, some loves if you've ever had to deal with your child being bullied. But I don't know about y'all, but Mama Bear comes out and it's like you want to attack. You're going to go to that school and you are going to tell that kid off and you might snap their neck. Like Mama Bear comes out whenever someone's attacking your child, right? So, you know, recently I had, it's happened off and on where someone kind of attacks a child and I usually do the whole turn the other cheek, you know, what would Jesus do and all this, but it's hard. It's hard because I just went through it myself and so I know where my child's coming from and you don't want to turn the other cheek. You don't want to just pretend like it didn't happen. So it's really hard, especially as a mom, like, you want to go rip the little kid's throat out, right? Like you get aggressive and angry. And so here lately, I've had to deal with that with one of my kids. This is so stupid and silly, but it hurt her. One of the kids at school, this was just like within last couple days, so I'll tell you about this situation. They apparently had access to see my Facebook. And I mean, a lot of my posts are public, but I am friends with a lot of my kids, you know, friends or whatever. So they had access to my Facebook and they saw a picture of one of my kids and they were showing the picture and laughing about it. And so the whole crowd of kids is laughing in this classroom with my child sitting right there who's turns around and, you know, like later tells me, you know, why do you have this person on Facebook? Because they make fun of me, which I didn't think anything was wrong with my post. And as a mom, I mean, it was just a post of, you know, us putting on a mask and goofing off. But kids are cruel and kids are mean and kids take any little thing and will use that to hurt someone, especially if they're trying to get in a crowd, right? Like if you, and it's the same thing as adults, if they're trying to get in a crowd, they're going to kind of act a little bit different, which is super sad. So I looked up the definition of bully, and I've got some notes, so I'm going to kind of go over those. The definition for a bully means that they use superior strength or influence to intimidate someone, typically to force them to do what someone wants. So in my situation with it being in the company, that particular person who was bullying, or particular persons, were wanting me to do something different. They wanted me to step away. They wanted me to give up. They wanted me to stop building. They wanted to destroy an empire that's being built. So that's typically what someone is doing when they're bullying you. With the situation I just mentioned with the child, I think that situation was they were trying to force her to feel embarrassed, and she was just a target of a mean joke. So there's some other words that go along with that: persecute, oppress, harass, torment, strong arm, dominate. You know, we talk about dominating a situation, and that would be totally different than this kind of domination. This kind of domination is like, I am going to take you over. I'm going to crush you. That's what bullies do. They think that they are going to be able to be superior. They think that they can be intimidating. They think that they can harass you all they want. So some things that you need to do as adults, or even when you're talking to your kids and you're talking to them about bullying, I looked at some statistics, which is very scary, considering it happens all the time. But 3.2 million students are victims of bullying. 3.2 million students are victims of bullying. 160,000 teens skip school because of bullying. Because some kid said that they slept with so-and-so, or some kid said that you're a slut, or said that, you know what I'm talking about. We were all teenagers before, and if you're a girl, you know how that goes, because so-and-so said so-and-so, you know. So 160,000 teens skip school because of that. Bullies purposely are going to hurt you because they want you to feel uncomfortable. They want you to feel unwanted. And I mean, I could go back to whenever I was a teenager and I had something like that. Mean girls. Mean girls is why I use that picture, because there are some mean girls out there to where they intentionally attack you because they don't like you. They don't, whatever reason. You sipped the wrong Kool-Aid. I don't know. You did something wrong, and so they target you, and they are going to attack you. And that's kind of where that bullying comes in. Those mean girls come in. I remember even back in high school, and junior high, go on, that there were girls that would just be mean just to be mean. And you know what? I know them now as adults, and I look at them and go, yep, you grew up to be a mean girl. I see them with their kids. I'm like, oh no. So what makes a mean girl a mean girl? What makes a bully a bully? Well, a lot of it is, it's a learned behavior. And that's why I say, you see these mean girls who are now adults, they're still mean girls. Why are they still mean girls? Because it was a learned behavior and it just continued. They think that by trampling other people, that it's going to make them feel better. And in reality, it's just making them feel smaller and smaller. They will never feel full. And they will never feel complete, and they will never be amazing. So, overcoming bullying, and this could be for your child, this could be for you, but here's some notes that I took over the last couple months of me dealing with what I've been dealing with and fighting it myself, but also dealing with the child and the mama bear and wanting to come out and slit the throat kind of thing. The mama bear thing comes out. The first thing is, you've got to understand that it is a learned behavior. You've got to understand that that didn't just come out of nowhere. This person didn't just attack you because they just want to attack you. It came because maybe there's issues at home. Maybe there's issues with themselves. Maybe they have issues within themselves. So you have to understand that it's not personal. I think that's first. It feels personal and you were personally attacked, but it did not come because your hair color was different. It came because that person has issues that they need to fix up there. Okay? So it's a learned behavior and it's not your fault. That's the first thing you have to understand. The second thing is, if you can, you need to confront the bully. This one is hard. Now let me tell you, I sit back and say this because with the situation that I mentioned with the company and things like that, there was no confronting the bully because that bully protected themselves from being confronted. They made sure that they could not be confronted, whether it be, blocking on social media, not responding, or avoiding being seen, whatever. And you know how cyberbullying is. It's hiding behind that screen. Well, this particular person was hiding behind something. And so confronting a bully does not always happen. Confronting the bully, that step number 2, doesn't always occur. And with a child, you don't want them to just, beat the heck out of the kid. You don't want them to confront him in that way. You want to, when this is talking about confronting them, you just need to let them know, hey, I'm not going to tolerate that, or I don't like that, or, you need to stop. In my child situation with the laughing, she she tried to take the phone and tried to unfollow me or whatever. Just so you know, that situation was resolved. I hit the block button. But anyways, number 3, you have got to find a support system. Don't be silent, okay? Whether it is, that was my issue, is I was silent for a long time with my own. And I think that's kind of the thing with kids too, is they are silent. They don't want to talk to your parents. And so with mine is open enough to come tell me, hey, I don't like this. But I personally, as an adult, and I told you this is a vulnerable time for me because I feel like this is a weakness, but I looked within, and it was kind of like I took it personal. It was me, something I did. It was all me. I'm just a horrible person, and I was silent, and I let it fester, and I let it just, that wound was getting bigger and bigger, and it was just like pussing up because you did not deal with it. You didn't get it out. You didn't talk to your friends, because that is a vulnerable part of your life. That is where you might feel like it is a weakness, but it really is not. If you don't have that support system with your friends who go, what did she say? And you know what I mean? Like those girls that got you back, your spouse that has your back. I mean, talk to people that are going to be there and go, oh no, girl, your eyes look wonderful. I don't know what they're talking about. Whatever it is, you need to have that support system behind you. So don't go into this without the support. Another thing is, I mentioned too, you're not the problem. You are not the real source of the issue. If bullying is happening, it's not because you did something, it's because that person has something wrong with them. And you just became the target. And that's so hard to understand, but it really is true. Stress, oh my gosh. So stress built incredibly high for me during this time. And stress, when it builds up, it is an unavoidable chain of negative emotions, okay? Don't let it get that far. Those emotions just overwhelm and they start overflowing. And for me, I seem to think of myself as a, bottle of joy and love, and I like to smile, and I love to be happy, and I love to make others happy, and I love to make people feel good. So when those negative emotions are bottled up, eventually they're going to explode, right? They're going to just overflow in your joyful cup and totally poison your cup of coffee or whatever you're drinking, your joy juice. Don't let the stress bottle up like that. You've got to take care of it. And you know what you can do to relieve stress. Go exercise. Go beat a bag if punch a bag if you need to. Do something to get that stress out, because you do not want it to poison your joy. Don't let it poison your joy. The other thing is, don't isolate yourself. That was something I did too. Totally wrong. Should never have done that. I isolated myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I moped in my bed. I cried. I was like, boo-hoo, and it's all my fault. No, it's not. Don't isolate yourself. You're better than that. And you are also worth way more than that. Who cares if these people are attacking you? I've always known myself to be a very strong, independent leader, woman, but we all have weaknesses. We all have vulnerabilities, and we all have moments where we just think, what the heck? And I've been there, but don't isolate yourself. Isolating yourself sinks yourself into a depression. And again, you're just poisoning your joy. You're letting someone steal that joy, and it's going to ruin you. Don't let it get to that point. So don't let yourself be the victim. Okay? You can be targeted as a victim, but don't let yourself act like that victim. Get up. Get aggressive, go out there and say, I don't care what you say about me. You can talk you can bump those gums all you want, but I know who I am, and there's no way you're going to break me. And of course, make sure that you're taking care of your health. That goes back to the stress. Make sure that you are going and exercising. Make sure that you're eating right. Don't just sit in bed and eat a bunch of crap because you're isolating yourself and you're boo-hooing. Don't do that. I mean, that's just going to set you back even more, because now you're going to be like, okay, now I'm fat and ugly. I mean, don't do that. I mean, don't destroy your health just because you're unhappy. And the last thing is surround yourself with positivity. Like I said, I feel like I am positive. I mean, I made a post yesterday and I kind of giggled about it, where it said, sometimes I like looking through my feed, because then I'm like, oh yeah, I need to delete that person. It's because the negativity gets to you. If you have somebody who's posting negative all the time, it gets old, and you don't want to get dragged down. And we all have our stuff. We have our stuff that we're dealing with, and that stuff that we're dealing with, we don't want to see all this other crap. I mean, let's just be honest. We don't want to see negativity. So if you are dealing with those bullies, or you're dealing with those attacks, and then you're scrolling through feed, or you walk down the street and they're talking all this negative, that is not going to help you. So surround yourself with positivity. Stick to the positive things. Remind yourself of the good things in your life. And when it comes to those bullies, I mean, you could say, you want to sock it to them. Honestly, the only way that you're going to sock it to them is to show them that they did not tear you down, and you get back up and you're stronger this time around. So I hope that y'all have a beautiful, wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope that you get everything that you possibly want this Valentine's Day. I did. I got chocolate covered strawberries, and I think it's time for one. Y'all have a great day. See you later.